The biggest challenge I ever faced in my life was just the years I've had to go through in my public school systems, especially Newton North. I remember when I first got in Newton North, I thought I was going to a great school, but instead it was a trap. And during that time, I was hospitalized many times. And even though I was smart and could have done well, I kept failing and kept getting bad grades. And school itself was horrible, but it wasn't just Newton North that was a challenge. I remember how middle school and throughout my years was very challenging as well. I'm a person who's diagnosed with autism, and when I was elementary school, I had teachers who understood me and were great with me, but when I went to middle school, that's when things went downhill. The teachers didn't know how to handle me. They often thought I was trying to cause nothing but trouble, when in reality I was just a behavioral student who needed special interventions. And and they often gave me a lot of day detention, or they used a resource officer to physically get me to behave. These experiences were awful, and they often gaslighted me into thinking it was my fault. And throughout this time, it wasn't just that I was struggling with my own identity, I was struggling with mental and emotional health. And yet the teachers thought these were all hormones in puberty that was the problem, and that I was just acting out. No, in reality, my emotions and distress was so challenging and that it prevented me from doing schoolwork even when I loved academics. These emotions attacked me. I just thought it was over. And especially, my emotions got worse when I was in high school. And also, even when I got sent to an alternative school after I got expelled from my 10th grade high school, my behavior still was a big struggle, and mental health was a big challenge. And the problem is the fact that I had to deal with teachers and many people who told me, you're autistic, you're never going to work with anyone, you're going to be in a computer or just find a job, you don't deserve to go to college, your autism is the reason why you won't get far in life. At first I thought that was true, but looking back, I realized that was a reflection of them and not of me. Instead, when I first got out of my alternative school, I decided to focus on my academics and just get good grades. And here's what happened. So, what I did is, even though I was struggling with my emotions and I had problems managing it, I always learned to take deep breaths. And then eventually, after a bit of struggle, I ended up finding a mental health counselor, and this person was able to challenge me. This person used the anger iceberg, and they often told me that anger is a secondary emotion and that I should just never ignore my feelings. Instead, when I'm upset or not feeling a good mood, I shouldn't run away from my problems. I should just learn to speak about them, understand why they are the way they are. This is a thing what I've noticed about life and what I've noticed about myself. Instead of just like simply just ignoring your feelings and thinking they're a waste of time, sometimes it's okay to seek a therapist, get medications, but more importantly, have someone to talk to, and also write in a journal and think about your emotions. Even though I struggle with my emotions and it sometimes makes me burned out and prevents me from doing schoolwork, I don't let it get to me and think this is the end of the world. As a result, what has happened is I've accomplished a lot. I've been elected to a secretary role to two different clubs, which were Honors Club and Student Government Association. I've gotten nothing but A's, but also I've been inducted into two honor societies. And here's the thing what I realized. Yeah, actually, I'm starting to figure out what I want to do, and I've been involved in a lot of political organizations. And even though I've been struggling with emotions, but the fact that I have a mental health counselor who challenges me, who gets me to think in a different way, and who gets me to think what it means to be emotionally in control of your mental health, that's what matters. She has taught me to be accountable and taught me the fact that you are in control of your own emotions, but you can't just ignore your emotions and just think they're a thing of the past. It's always better to understand why you feel that way. And if you're depressed or anxious for no apparent reason, sometimes better to address it and just keep moving forward. You can't ignore your emotions, but you shouldn't dwell onto them either. I'm just glad that I've gotten a lot further in my life, and I'm proud that I'm a great college student who has achieved a lot.